I hope my screen is visible. My screen is visible, right? You all can see what I'm sharing with you. Anybody can text there. Okay. Okay, you all can see my screen. Hello.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Okay. Educational. Would anybody like to read it?
Yes.
Yeah, sure, sure. Please. Somebody said that they want to read. Rizwa. Okay.
Should I start reading?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. The discipline deals with the classroom dynamic teaching style and learning. It develops educational tests and evaluate educational program, investigate all aspects of educational process, ranging from curriculum design to techniques to instructions to learning disabilities. This grant deals with broader problem of increasing the efficiency of learning in school by applying psychological knowledge about of learning and motivation to the curriculum. Another specialized subfield called school psychology may be included in educational psychology.
Yes, thank you, Riza. Just a little bit of easier explanation that I think I can give in here. Educational psychology has an offshoot that is school psychology, and educational psychology is all about developing newer methods to improve learning in schools and in other human learning institutions, and to improve the ones that are already existing. They have an array of how many things they deal with. Just a minute, somebody is here. So they deal with developing better school curriculum for the students, and they also improve the teaching styles, because and also they deal with the students who are disabled in any way, like people who are blind or who have hearing disabilities. They also promote and they also study the methods for enhancing their learning process. Okay, now we have ergonomics. Riza, would you like to proceed with it or somebody else?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, okay, okay.
Ergonomics. It is a discipline which interrelates engineering technologies to human behavior. It deals with the process of designing and managing the workplace environment, product, or system for the comfort and optimum performance of employees and individuals.
Okay. Ergonomics is all about creating an optimum workspace environment. And it is different than organizational or industrial psychology in reference to that ergonomics is about the physical environment, and organizational or industrial psychology is about how people relate to each other, and interpersonal relations within a workspace environment. Ergonomics is all about how to optimize the interaction between the work environment and the worker, and it has different areas, like from the basics of how to sit properly to optimize the productivity. The goal of ergonomics is to provide the best outputs through the employees. So we're going to optimize the area where they're working, and those conditions are studied in this field, so that they work in comfortable conditions, and the work that they give out is of the best quality. Okay, you can start reading, Riza.
Industrial organizational psychology investigate all aspects of behavior in work setting, ranging from selection development of employee performance appraisal work in motivation and leadership. Methods application of psychology to the problem of industries and organization with selection and recruitment of employee by using intelligent aptitude tests. Nowadays, a number of companies are using modern version of systems in their program for hiring and selection of employees. Specialists in the field also apply psychologists to problems related to management and employee training, leadership and supervision, communication, motivation, inter and intra-group conflict within the organization. They organize on-the-job training program for improving work environment and human relation in organization and work settings. These psychologists are sometimes called personal psychologists.
Okay. So, industrial or organizational psychology is about the people, and ergonomics is about the human interaction with the physical environment in a workplace. तो वहाँ पे आपके प्रोडक्ट्स जो आप यूज़ कर रहे हो, या आप जिस एनवायरनमेंट में बैठे हो, जो आपका सिस्टम है जिसमें आप काम कर रहे हो, दैट हैज़ टू बी ऑप्टिमाइज्ड सो दैट यू कैन वर्क इन द बेस्ट वे एंड यू गिव आउट द बेस्ट आउटकम. You work at your maximum efficiency. That is the goal of ergonomics. But in industrial and organizational psychology, the people who are related to this field, they are commonly उन्हें HR department बोलते हैं, human resources department, and they control how people, they govern how much people are paid, and how many people should be recruited into that organization, and how to maintain relationships within that organization or within that company so that people can work smoothly. And इनको पर्सनल साइकोलॉजिस्ट भी कहते हैं. एनीबडी हु नोज व्हाट इज पर्सनल?
Um, personal.
हाँ.
Basically, the people. It's about the people who are working uh, in a company and how and when they are having a problem, they reach out to the
HR.
company
हाँ.
psychologist. Basically.
Right. Right. Okay, that is correct. Personnel is related to the people. The personnel. Let me wait. Is there any better explanation that anybody could give, like Hindi mein, so that it's easier to understand?
Can you just repeat the question once because for me the voice is breaking a bit, so I could not hear everything.
Anybody who knows the meaning of personnel, here I highlighted.
Okay, Paul, hi, Anisha.
Mhm.
Actually, personal psychology is another subfield of industrial psychology only, where
Okay.
it is the personal psychologies are more involved in selection and the recruitment process,
Mhm.
than creating job satisfaction for those people.
Mhm.
It's kind of subfield only for industrial psychology.
Okay. Thank you, Anisha. Personnel actually are the people who are in a organization or in a company. I'm not talking about personnel psychologists. I'm just talking about the word personnel. And the reason I try to break things up is because when you learn things bit by bit, it is easier to process, to see the whole picture at the end. That is the only reason. Okay. Anybody who would like to अच्छा, मेडिकल साइकोलॉजी में क्या होता है? वी स्टडी कि क्लिनिकल साइकोलॉजी एंड मेडिकल साइकोलॉजी, इसमें डिफरेंस ये भी आपको कंफ्यूजन हो सकता है. क्लिनिकल साइकोलॉजी इज डिफरेंट बिकॉज इट इज डीलिंग विद द मेंटल एबनॉर्मेलिटीज इन अ पर्सन. So most of the psychology is related to how it relates to the mental abnormalities, mental illnesses, mental disorders. But medical psychology is about helping people out who have some physical illness. Physical illness में some terminal illnesses are there, like cancer, or some very huge, diseases which might not be treatable. So medical psychology deals with how to improve their life, how to make it comfortable for them, and for their caregivers. Because what happens is, when some people are terminally ill or they have some disease which is very hard to cure, the toll is not only on the person who is suffering from that disease, it's also on the people who are caring for them and who are treating them. So medical psychology relates to that. Please somebody read it. Shall I read it then? Okay. Medical psychology. The field of medical psychology applies psychology to manage medical problems such as emotional impact of illness, self screening for cancer, compliance in taking medicines. Job of these psychologists overlaps with part of health psychology. Okay. Now we have forensic psychology. Forensic psychology, it is a field in which is a blend or combination of psychology and law. It is involved. It involves psychological assessment of individuals usually suspected for an illegal act or crime. The forensic psychologists are involved in various settings like a school doing threat assessments, the prison, or in the courtroom serving as an expert witness. They are professionally skilled in behavior analysis, evolution, assessment, and treatment. Though they get training in law and criminal psychology, they also have to be trained in clinical psychology. Okay, and they need to have hands on experience in clinical assessment, interviewing, report writing, and strong verbal communication skills. Acha, one another point that I want to tell you, legal psychology is also a field. Forensic psychology is another field that we have. The major difference in both of them is, I'm just giving you a overview mota mota कि forensic psychology focuses on the criminal or the convict, and legal psychology is about the jurors, जो judge हैं, जो court room का system है, जो court है. It focuses on the legal system, legal psychology. And forensic psychology का main focus is on the criminals or the convicts, how they uh, function, how they behave in such a setting. Okay, okay. Is okay. Forensic psychology and legal psychology, they work side by side. Let's start with military psychology. This branch of psychology refers to the study of implying psychological theories to understand as well as predict behaviors of military forces within country as well as those outside the country. The administration of psychological tools can help the armed forces to thrive better in stressful situations. The discipline also deals on application of psychological theories and principles to deal with the enemy forces. It also reflects on how to make work life balance. And not just that, this is a very brief. Military psychology is also a huge field, and they deal not only with work life balance but also with the illnesses that mostly people who are in the forces they suffer from. One of the most common ones is the shell shock. Shell shock was a very primitive term now. It was prevalent during the World War time. Like in shell shock, nowadays it is known as PTSD. It is post traumatic stress disorder. And there are a lot of stresses when you are in armed forces, that you are in combat, you are in high stressful zones, and the training is tough. So all those issues, they impact certain people in certain ways negatively. So military psychologists, they help them out. They are there to ensure that people don't, develop some disorders while they are in the forces. And not just that, they also, जो नीति बनती है ना, जो the work plan and the administration of how the armed forces should function, not just within the country and enemy lines पे क्या हो रहा है, all of that is controlled and administered by the military psychology. Okay, environmental psychology. This discipline aims at researching and solving environmental issues in order to enhance better living conditions for human and their well-being. It deals with the interaction of human environment. ह्यूमन एंड एनवायरनमेंट, तो ह्यूमन एंड एनवायरनमेंट के ट्रांजैक्शन पे जो साइकोलॉजिकल एस्पेक्ट्स आते हैं, उनको हम साइकोलॉजी एनवायरमेंटल साइकोलॉजी में स्टडी करते हैं. ये बिल्ड इन एनवायरनमेंट को भी स्टडी करता है विद रिलेशन टू ह्यूमंस एंड द नेचुरल एनवायरनमेंट एज वेल, कि हाउ both of these things, our built in environment and our natural environment, how they make us, how they frame us as individuals. So it's not just about the environment, it has both the aspects. Environment कुछ भी हो सकता है, natural भी, और हमने जो बना रखा है man made वो भी. Is there anybody? I think. And now we have sports psychology. This is very a very flourishing field. Yeah, forensic psychology is also a flourishing field. Both of these fields, subfields of psychology, have seen a lot of growth in the past years. Sports psychology is a study of influence of psychology on sports, athletic performance, exercise, and physical activity. Okay, it deals with various aspects that can enhance the level of motivation, performance, and team spirit amongst the professional athletes and coaches. It also reflects the relevance of involvement in sports and exercise with reference to positive well-being of individuals. Now, sports psychology works in both the ways. Forensic psychology and legal psychology, they were not working vice versa. Forensic psychology focuses on the criminal or the convict. Legal psychology focuses on the courtroom and the jurors. But sports psychology, how, when I'm playing, when I'm doing some sports, how is that influencing my psychological health, and how it is affecting my physical health, and how my physical health and my psychological state are going to affect my game. Okay, and how all these factors can improve my athletic performance, how well I can exercise, what will be the effects of certain
Charles,
exercise. Yeah.
Charles,
uh,
your voice is cracking a lot.
is everybody having this
I
issue?
don't so
No,
everybody
no,
was
no. Maybe your network issues.
No, I don't have any issues.
okay, then this is for me. Sorry.
No, no, no problem, Anisha. You just try to reposition yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and let me know if you still have my voice cracking, then we will wait for you. I can you hear me now properly?
Yeah, better now.
Huh, okay. Just let me know, okay? Don't go on. बता देना हमको पहले ही.
Huh.
ओके, साइकोलॉजी इन इंडिया ट्रेडिशनल एंड मॉडर्न. नाउ ये तो अभी वील स्टडी, बट इसमें मेरे को ऐसा लगा था कि हमें जो इस मटेरियल में मिला है, ये साइकोलॉजी इन मॉडर्न इंडिया, ट्रेडिशनल इन मॉडर्न इंडिया, ये काफ़ी शॉर्ट है. तो इसीलिए मैंने एनसीईआरटी को रेफ़र किया था इसके लिए. इसमें आप भी पढ़ सकते हो, पेज नंबर 10 पे फर्स्ट चैप्टर के डेवलपमेंट ऑफ साइकोलॉजी इन इंडिया में आपको ये मिल जाएगा. इसका मैंने एक आउटलाइन बनाया है विच आई एम गोइंग टू शेयर विद यू ऑल टुडे. एंड उसके बाद हम रीड भी कर सकते हैं इसको, अगर टाइम होगा हमारे पास तो हम रीड भी कर लेंगे. वैसे तो मुझे लगता है होगा टाइम. तो एनीबडी हु वांट्स टू रीड साइकोलॉजी इन इंडिया फ्रॉम हियर?
Yeah, मैं करती हूँ.
हाँ हाँ श्योर.
Psychology in India today. Okay, as it was informed earlier, that psychology emerged as an independent stream from philosophy in Western countries, and the Western ideas and principles had a significant influence on the psychology in India. Basically, the Indian psychology focused on the ancient Indian thought and teachings. Additionally, the philosophical and liturgical literature like the Vedas and epic literature implemented the religious thought and philosophies on how an individual should deal with different situations. Vedas, Yoga Sutras, Bhagavad Gita reflect upon human actions and its effect on society. In India, the psychology was first introduced in Department of Philosophy in Calicut University in 1916. The independent psychology department started only post-independence. During early years, many relevance was given to the experimental psychology. With a view to promote, advance, and spread the knowledge of psychology, the Indian Psychological Association was established in 1924, followed by the Indian Journal of Psychology a year later. In late 40s, applied psychology gained importance in India. Development of Indian modern psychology in India can be seen from the theories developed to explain sensation and perception by Indian psychologists. For example, a book Indian Theories of Perception by J. Sinha. Like the Western psychologists, the psychologists in India also start looking for Indian theories of cognition. In 1958, Jadunath Sinha wrote a book of cognition, and later on wrote on a book on emotion. Today, the works of Oriental psychology, Buddhist psychology, Yoga psychology, and Jain psychology are an eminent part of modern psychology literature. Many Western-based psychometric tools have been adapted, as well as Indian tools have been developed in accordance to the cultural contexts. At present, lot of psychological research are also being on throughout the country.
Thank you. Okay, all right. Thank you, Riza. Let's go through this part a little slowly this time to see what it actually says. Okay. Psychology, although we are studying psychology here in India right now, the thing is that, and also our traditional ancient texts have also been related, like they always have tried to answer the question of how humans think and what we should do in certain situations, quite related to the field of psychology. The field of psychology in India as well has been highly dominated by Western ideas. So it is now that we see Indianized versions of the Western philosophy, but it's still not completely Indian. Our philosophies and our the psychology that is relevant to our traditional sources, that is very limited. The scientific basis was only provided by the Westerners. Okay, basically, Indian psychology focuses on Indian thoughts and preachings. So, thoughts and preachings only come from Vedas, epic literature, and the best book that you can go for is the Bhagavad Gita. That is a completely philosophical book. So traditionally, the philosophical and religious literatures like the Vedas and the epic literature matlab Mahabharata and the Ramayana, reflected the religious thoughts and philosophies on how an individual should deal with different situations. Now those different situations were of those times. Now the times have changed, so obviously we need to upgrade, we need to update, we need to change. So most of those things, yeah, although there might be some things that can like stay evergreen, some laws like related to morality and stuff, they can stay evergreen, but a lot of stuff has to change with changing times. The Vedas, Yoga Sutras, and Bhagavad Gita reflect upon human actions and its effect on society. Especially Bhagavad Gita, it pays so much of emphasis on self reflection, introspection, looking on the inside. Yoga Sutra, we all know, yoga is one of the best ways to actually understand yourself. Anybody of you who does yoga? This is interesting. No one? Acha, anybody of you who is active physically, who is sports or anything? Okay, well, you should. Yoga is great. Please try it out. I would highly recommend yoga. Okay. In India, the psychology was first introduced in Department of Philosophy in Calcutta University in 1916. अच्छा, कैलकाटा यूनिवर्सिटी सब से सब स्टार्ट हुआ था सबसे पहले 1915 में। यहाँ तो 1916 लिखा है, लेकिन 1915 में सबसे पहले वहाँ सिलेबस लॉन्च हुआ था। The syllabus was given out in 1915 that we are going to develop department of psychology, and सबसे पहले फिर हमने lab set की in 1916. Okay, the independent psychology department started only post independence. Yeah, and the other pioneer areas were Patna and Mysore, apart from Calcutta, where psychology was promoted. Okay, during early years, much relevance was given to experimental psychology. In the beginning, most of the stuff that was taught was only experimental. Applied psychology भी बाद में आई है. With an aim to promote, advance, and spread the knowledge of psychology, the Indian Psychological Association was established in 1924, followed by the Indian Journal of Psychology a year later. In the late 40s, applied psychology gained importance in India. The development of modern psychology in India can be seen from the theories developed. There are some important names in the Indian context with relation to psychology. Uh, like Dr. N. Sen Gupta, that this name is given in the NCRT. I'm going to show you. And then we have Professor G. Bose. Dr. N. Sen Gupta, he was trained in experimental tradition of Wundt. And Professor G. Bose, he was trained in Freudian psychoanalysis. And he is also very important. J. Sinha, he gave this book, right? A book, Indian Theories of Perception by J. Sinha. Okay, I don't know whether this is the same person or not, but in NCRT there is another name given, Durganand Sinha. So I don't know whether these two people are the same. He gave another very important view of psychology with relation to India. He wrote a book, Psychology in a Third World Country. So there are chances that both of them are same, but some of the names are important because you might need to write them in your paper to elaborate an answer with relation to how psychology has grown in the Indian context. Now, like the Western psychologists, the psychologists in India also started looking for Indian theories of cognition. In 1958, Jadunath Sinha wrote a book on cognition and later on worked upon a book on emotion. Today, the works of Oriental psychology मतलब east side of the world की psychology. Buddhist psychology, yoga psychology, and Jain psychology are an eminent part of modern psychological literature. Many Western based psychometric tools have been adapted as well as Indian tools have been developed in accordance to the cultural context. At present, lot of psychological researches are also going on throughout the country. If we talk about the book that was written by Durganand Sinha, he wrote a book मैंने जिसका आपको नाम बताया, Psychology in a Third World Country, The Indian Experience. This is all given in the NCRT. I'm gonna show you. Yeah, here. Okay. So I'm gonna highlight it. He divided the history of psychology in India in four phases. तो मैं आपको एक overview मतलब the highlights I'm going to give you. First phase was before independence to independence. Independence से पहले और आज़ादी तक. तो it was very much similar to Western psychology. Western developments जो हो रहे थे जैसे वहाँ पे experimental studies हो रही थी, वैसी the similar way only experimental psychology was studied for most of the part. And then we have till the 1960s, from the 1947 era post independence till the 1960s we have the second phase. उसमें क्या हुआ, साइकोलॉजी की ब्रांचेस होनी शुरू हो गई और द इंडियन साइकोलॉजिस्ट वर ईगर कि हमें अब एक इंडियन आइडेंटिटी चाहिए साइकोलॉजी के लिए. हम सब कुछ वेस्टर्न आइडिया से ही रिलेट कर रहे हैं. नाउ वी थिंक दैट वी नीड टू हैव एन इंडियन आइडेंटिटी ऑफ द सब्जेक्ट. तो वो इंडियन आइडियाज को, इंडियन ट्रेडिशनल आइडियाज को, इंडियन एंशंट आइडियाज को कनेक्ट करने लग गए वेस्टर्न आइडियाज से टू फाइंड आउट सिमिलैरिटीज एंड टू काइंड ऑफ अमलगमेट द बोथ. And they tried to understand the Indian context using the philosophies from the West, using the psychological ideas from the West. Then what happened, 1960s के बाद post 1960s हमारा third phase आया और psychology in India it became problem oriented. Now the problems of the Indian society, they were beginning to be addressed directly. And people, psychologists also understood that there is a limit to how much Western philosophy and Western psychology we can apply to the Indian society, because Western society is different. We cannot actually apply most of that stuff to our people. So there has to be a difference in how we understand the Indian psychology. We cannot apply everything from and ये भी समझ में आया कि we depend too much on the Western psychology, Western ideas. There was too much of dependence. So a need was realized to form something completely of the Indian origin. So then it was followed in the late 1970s, the phase of indigenization. They completely rejected the Western framework, and they were kind of busy in developing a framework which fits in well into the Indian context. And indigenous psychology is about, indigenous का मतलब होता है उनका जो origin है वो Indian cultural context है. They are relating everything to the Indian society. We cannot be using a lot of Western ideas when we are using the term indigenization. Okay, so do you think we should be reading? I think we should read this NCRT part, right? Am I audible? Oh, acha, you people are writing. Okay. Okay. Oh, oh, oh. All right. Ha, 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 yes. Oh, you people were answering. I'm so sorry. I didn't see your answers. Okay, Sahil Chauhan does yoga, and then we have Himanshu. He says that he I think he was trying to say meditation, and Naira said that I do yoga, but not super spiritually. Okay, more for flexibility. Okay, one thing that I want to tell you, if you do not apply your mind when you are doing yoga, it is just stretching. I came to know about it, but later in my practice too. Okay, yes, we should read the book. All right. Is anybody going to read it or should I? All right. Development of psychology in India. The Indian philosophical tradition is rich in its focus on mental processes and reflection on human consciousness, self, mind body relations, and a variety of mental functions such as cognition, perception, illusion, attention, and reasoning, etc. Unfortunately, philosophical roots in the Indian tradition have not influenced the development of modern psychology in India. I'm just going to highlight this. Huh. The development of the discipline in India continues to be dominated by Western psychology, although some attempts have been made to find points of departure both within the country and abroad. These attempts have tried to establish a truth value of various assertions in Indian philosophical traditions through scientific studies. इस स्टेटमेंट ये बहुत भारी भरकम स्टेटमेंट लग रहा होगा, लेकिन इसका मतलब ये है कि इन्होंने साइंटिफिक स्टडीज़ के थ्रू जो इंडियन फिलोसफिकल ट्रेडिशंस हैं उनके अंदर एजर्शंस निकालने की कोशिश की है कि what the Indian philosophical traditional ideas were, they actually have a scientific root. This is the meaning of this one statement. The modern era of Indian psychology began in the Department of Philosophy at Calcutta University. So this can be a little tricky. Department of Philosophy ही था उस टाइम, साइकोलॉजी का कोई डिपार्टमेंट नहीं था. Where the actually the emergence of psychology was there in India, where the first syllabus, I already told you, the first syllabus of experimental psychology was introduced, and the first psychology laboratory was established in 1915. Calcutta University started the first department of psychology in the year 1916 and another department of applied psychology in 1938. Okay. The beginning of modern experimental psychology at Calcutta University was greatly influenced by the Indian psychologist Dr. N. Sen Gupta, who was trained in the USA in experimental tradition of Wundt. Professor G. Bose was trained in Freudian psychoanalysis, another area which influenced the early development of psychology in India. Professor Bose established Indian Psychoanalytical Association in 1922. Departments of psychology in the universities of Mysore and Patna were other early centers of teaching and research in psychology. From these modest beginnings, modern psychology has grown as a strong discipline in India with a large number of centers of teaching, research, and applications. There are two centers of excellence in psychology supported by the UGC at Utkal University, Bhubaneswar, and the University of Allahabad. About 70 universities offer courses in psychology. Now, Durganand Sinha, in his book Psychology in a Third World Country, The Indian Experience, published in 1986, traces the history of modern psychology as a social science in India in four phases. According to him, the first phase till independence was a phase with emphasis on experimental, psychoanalytic, and psychological research, which testing research, which primarily reflected the development of the discipline in Western countries. First phase, man. All right. First phase lasted till independence. The second phase, till the 1960s, was a phase of expansion of psychology in India into different branches of psychology. During this phase, Indian psychologists showed a desire to have an Indian identity by seeking to link Western psychology to the Indian context. They did this by using Western ideas to understand the Indian situation. However, psychology in India sought to become relevant for Indian society in the post 1960s phase of problem oriented research. Psychologists became more focused on addressing the problems of the Indian society. Further, the limitations were realized of excessive dependence on Western psychology for our social context were also realized. Leading psychologists emphasize the significance of research which is of relevance to our situation. The search for a new identity of psychology in India led to the phase of indigenization, which started in the late 1970s. Besides rejecting the Western framework, Indian psychologists stressed the need for developing an understanding based on a framework which was culturally and socially relevant. This trend was also reflected in some attempts to develop psychological approaches based on traditional Indian psychology which came from our ancient texts and scriptures. Thus, this phase is characterized by development in indigenous psychology, which originated from Indian cultural context and was relevant for society and Indian psychology based on the Indian traditional knowledge system. While these developments continue, psychology in India is making significant contributions to the field of psychology in the world. It has become more contextual, emphasizing the need for developing psychological principles which are rooted in our own social and cultural context. Alongside, we also find that new research studies involving interfaces with neurobiological and health sciences are being carried out. Psychology in India is now being applied in diverse professional areas. Not only have psychologists been working with children having special problems, they are employed in hospitals as clinical psychologists, in corporate organizations in the human resources department and advertising departments, in sports directorates, and in the in development sector and in the IT industry. All right. So I think we have done it earlier. Yeah. Um, you all are free to say something now. I think that's all in this chapter. How many of you actually like all this factual and theory, this kind of stuff, where you have to learn the years and the terms and definitions?
Not
I don't like it.
not me either.
I don't like it. I was so much that this is why I wanted to finish this off last week only. Okay, now we are going to go on perception. Thank God, we are going to study an actual thing. This is so boring. Better stuff coming next. Yes, right, right, Naira, you're right. Okay, then, acha, one important thing that I want to tell you, I have made some notes out of the IGNU material and out of the NCRT. I'm also referring to some other books, but I have not actually made some fair out notes from them. I'm going to compile all of this for all of you. Okay, so just be a little patient because it is taking much more time than I thought because I was ill. But this is going to be very much streamlined for you all. I'll create very concise and very streamlined things so that you find it easier to go through. Acha, how many of you are actually going to appear for exams this time? You can take.
Not me. I'm waiting. I think I might give in December. Not
Uh-huh.
sure yet.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. Even I okay. Anisha is going to give. Yeah, okay, Anisha. And Anisha, thank you so much for your inputs. They are very valuable, obviously, so that we can help each other out. That is the whole point. So, All right then, I think we should terminate our session here, and I will see you all day after tomorrow with the first chapter of block 2. Bye bye, and thank you.
Bye.
I thank